Welcome back to Lemons and Larkspur. Today is a work day. I need to do some major trimming on these boxwoods because I want to extend the amount of space I have for my shade garden. I got a new Alstroemeria, which is a Peruvian lily, and they, in our climate, like to be protected from the afternoon sun in a shady spot. So this is the spot, but the boxwoods have grown so large, and underneath they're hanging down so much that if I just lift them up a little bit, I'll have a whole new area to play with. And if you have been watching my channel, you know that I am running out of real estate very quickly to plant any kind of flowers, any kind of plants in general, but most specifically shade plants. This west side of our home is protected by the pine trees and then this row of boxwood. So they are very important, but it is the only area that I have to plant true shade plants. And I love shade plants. If you live in a yard that is predominantly shade, you know the struggles of shade gardening, but it also can be such fun to plant something different. And while the majority of my yard is sunny, I do have this space here that is shady. So I want to take full advantage of it. And to do that, I have to do a little legwork. So that is my day today. I'm going to bring you along, let you see exactly what I'm doing, and then we're going to go ahead and plant the new shade plants that I have, and actually pull some of the plants that just aren't quite working or maybe have run their seasonal cycle. So that's it for today. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you do that. Do you have shady areas? That's my question for you today. Do you have shady areas that you struggle with? And it's not even just that it's shady. Most of the time, if it's shady, it's because there's trees, so you are dealing with root issues and probably dry soil, because trees can deplete a lot of the nutrients and a lot of the moisture from your soil. So I'm gonna try to address those today. I am by no means an expert. We're just gonna figure this out by the seat of our pants, which is how I do things best. So let's get to gardening. Okay, this is the area that I'm talking about. This is shady. I have started planting. I have some hostas, and there's even a hydrangea in there. And going a little further, I'll show you the rest of that, but I want to show you, see the boxwood? They are overgrown, so they need to be reshaped. But then all of this excess down here, if I can make a little bit more room, I'll have a little bit more planting area. You can see how heavy the branches are getting, how they're separating. That is not what you want. And then this is the second area back here. And so this down here is the same issue with the boxwoods, but also I mentioned it last time, I don't like the orange in this area. I'm kind of okay with the lighter one, but that bright orange just is jarring to me. And plus, this is where I want to put my Peruvian lily. So it's where I moved that one Gara, if you remember from a few videos ago. So let me get to cleaning this out. There are 4 of them that I have to shape every year. Not my favorite job, but I'm always happy when it's done. So I got to grab a great big trash can, green waste, and get to pruning. I wanted just to show you the cleanup before I start to planting the new things, but that is a lot of work. I didn't get to planting today, so I'm going to do it tomorrow morning, but I wanted to see just how much room I have here now that I cleaned all of this up. I just kind of rounded them out a little bit, took out some of the heavy stuff that was weighing them down. But I'm so pleased with all the empty areas I have. I take you around here and show you this here. This is the area that had the nasturtium in it. So you can see I pulled that out. There was a Jupiter spirit in here that was just way too large. So I've pulled it out. I'm not sure if it's going to be replanted or it's just going to go in the recycle. You can see I still have a little bit of cleanup to do back there. But I'm super excited. Now, one thing I didn't bargain on, and I really should have, is that obviously I took some of the shade away when I cut back the boxwoods. So it still gets afternoon shade, but some of the mid-morning, late morning sun is pretty intense. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. So I will be back tomorrow morning to plant it, and I'll share how it all looks. Let's take a look at the after of the shade garden. Now remember, this is year 1 for this shade garden. Plants are very immature. Each year they will fill in the space beautifully. And I did with what I had, except for a couple of new purchases, which I'll tell you when we get to them. I lined the front with some clearance impatiens that I found, I think at Lowe's. They didn't look too good in the pots, but impatiens are pretty hard to kill here. In the back I have primrose, and that I actually took out of a planter, a container that I replaced with warm season annuals. In this garden I have first year hostas, another clearance in that hydrangea. I purchased one alstroemeria, which is Peruvian lily plant, and I divided it into 3. That's one there in the back. And they are tubers, so they spread. Every couple years I'll be able to move them even more. Again, a few more of those impatiens and some more primrose that I moved. And then I also divided some hardy geranium that I had growing in a pot. Let me take you around to the other side. This is the area between these 2 large boxwoods that I trimmed out and actually created a little bit more sun than I had anticipated, so the plants are going to have to adapt to that. But in here I have lamb's ear, which was already in here. I did end up moving one of them that was here where I put this alyssum to the back just because it was getting just too much sun. There's some more of that Peruvian lily. I have 3 hellebores in here which have already bloomed. Another hydrangea clearance that is underneath that wire cloche. And once again, this is year 1. I am going to attach a link for Creekside. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the full YouTube channel. She posted a shade garden that is spectacular, and it is several years old, and I want to share that with you so you can see what I hope will become of this shade garden in the years to come. So I hope you enjoyed the mini shade garden tour. I will be back next week, I believe, with a full garden tour. We're in between, a little transition happening here, but always something blooming. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Do you have a shade garden? What should I add to mine? I can always find room, you guys know that. Once again, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video.